In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, notice of this meeting was provided to the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, and the Highland Park Planet on January 5th, 2024, and was posted on Borough Hall website at www.hbborough.com and on the bulletin board of Borough Hall, 221 South 5th Avenue in Highland Park, New Jersey, and has remained continuously posted as required by law. Fire exits are to the left and right of the council chambers. Mrs. Hale, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Roll call.
Mayor Foster?
Yes.
Councilwoman Canavera?
Yes.
Councilman George?
Excuse.
Councilman Hale?
Here.
Council President Hirsch?
Here.
Councilwoman Kim Cho-Han?
Here.
Councilman Pistonik?
Excuse.
Borough Attorney Shaw?
Here.
Borough Administrator Hover?
Excuse.
And Special Counsel Donovan.
Here.
Motion to approve minutes as distributed February 20th, 2024 regular meeting and March 5th, 2024 regular meeting.
So moved.
Second. May I have a motion to approve minutes as distributed?
Roll call.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Canavera?
Yes.
Councilman Hale?
Yes.
Council President Hirsch?
Council President.
Yes.
And Councilwoman Kim Cho-Han.
Abstain.
Okay. Borough Attorney.
Good evening, everyone. Before we get started with our meeting, we just wanted to go through some of the ground rules. The mayor runs the meeting. So with that, she will, all the questions that you may have to be directed to her, and then she will direct, if she is not going to answer it, to somebody else who will. And the other item too is that until she recognizes you, that's when you can speak. So we just want to make sure that everyone understands that those are the ground rules. If for whatever reason there is a disruption, and everyone will have an opportunity to speak, I will call you out of order until we maintain some decorum. There are going to be two public portions. The first portion is to comment on any ordinances and resolutions, and the second public portion is where you can talk about anything you like. For both of them, we're going to have all the questions put on the record, and we're going to close the public portion. After the public portion is closed, that's when the mayor and anyone else that she wishes to respond to the questions will respond. And I just want to note that once the public portion is closed, please do not call out from the audience or on the phone to cut the person off who's speaking. And if there is an opportunity after the meeting, if you'd like to continue the conversation, you may do so. But once the public portion is closed, it's closed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Borough Attorney. And now we'll have council report. Councilwoman Kim Cho-Han, welcome back, Councilwoman Kim Cho-Han.
Thank you. So I don't have a report. I'm trying to catch up. I'd like to thank the council members that have been filling in for the rent control meetings and all the finance meetings as well too. And I'm happy to be back.
Welcome back. Councilmember Hale.
Hi, I'm Matt Hill, and I chair the Economic Development Committee for the council. So just a brief report tonight. Sunday, May 5th is the Highland Park Street Fair and 5K. Really, anybody who is interested in running in the 5K, or anybody who is interested in volunteering to help with the 5K, Main Street really needs as much people as possible. You can go to mainstreet.org to sign up as a volunteer, to sign up as a runner. Main Street is also looking for support and people to sponsor a variety of different things. If you are able to sponsor or want to sponsor the 5K, or if you want to be a vendor at the street fair, those opportunities are still open. Again, this is May 5th. coming up very, very quickly. All of the money that comes from into the 5K goes to the Highland Park PTO. So it's a great opportunity to be able to run out, have some great exercise, and then go to the street fair afterwards. It's a big event for Highland Park. It's really an exciting time. So anybody who wants to be a vendor, anybody who wants to be a runner, please come out. Council President Hirsch and I have decided we're going to start running tomorrow, and we may have a chance to win if that's a possibility. So we're gonna start early just to make sure that we get really, really close to the finish line before everybody else starts. So again, please, if you have any questions, go to mainstreet.org. And I would also very, very much like to welcome Ocean's moms back. So thank you very much for being back here. So that's all I have.
Councilwoman Canavera.
Thank you. Tara Canavera, I chair Health and Human Services. The Board of Health is a co-sponsor in the Go Clean and Go Green event being held in Edison at Eugenius Park on Martin Avenue on April 14th. It's a free hands-on demonstration of battery-operated landscaping equipment. The Commission for Universal Access will be meeting this coming Monday. They are meeting with the Special Education Parent Advisory Council to find ways to help all our children feel included in the community. The community food pantry is open on the second and fourth Thursday from 9 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. and again from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturday following that Thursday from 9:30 to 10 a.m. The Highland Park Gives a Hoot food pantry is every Tuesday at the Zone 6 Center from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Both programs have seen an increase in families needing our services. Human Relations Commission held their Gratitude Tree Project. It was a fun and meaningful event, and you still have time to put up your leaves or flowers of gratitude. For more information, email highlandparkhrc@gmail.com. The Mental Health Commission held its first meeting today. They're still looking for new members, and anybody interested can please email me at taracanavera@hpborough.com. And on a personal note, I would like to thank Sergeant Winskowski and Officer Bibby. They responded to a call at my home when my grandson fell yesterday. They were very helpful in calming my daughter down and reassuring her that my grandson would be okay. So I thank them for doing that while I couldn't be there. And I'd also like to thank the ESM workers. And lastly, I'd like to thank the police for holding the Make a Kite with the Cop event. It was a lot of fun, so thank you. And welcome back, Stephanie. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. Council President Hirsch.
Thank you, Mayor. Very quickly, just a few items. My name is Matthew Hirsch. I chair the Public Works Committee for the Council. Please join the Highland Park Environmental Commission on this Wednesday, tomorrow, at 8 p.m. on Zoom for a regular meeting and to hear updates about our river trail concept, proposal for commercial leaf blower, commercial leaf blower ordinance, community solar, and more. It's a robust and open discussion, and a lot of knowledgeable folks on the Environmental Commission, so please come. On Wednesday, April 10th at 7:30 p.m. on Zoom, join the Shade Tree Advisory Committee for the regular meeting as we discuss upcoming spring tree plantings, rain garden maintenance, and more. And I also just wanted to echo Councilwoman Canavera's sentiments regarding the gratitude tree. I was there for that as well as the kite coloring with cops, which was also a fun event. I missed the last council meeting because I was away for work at a national conference with a lot of community economic development corporations there, and really just it's always eye-opening to hear what other towns are doing to bolster their downtowns, to improve their economic development prospects and the strategies that they employ. And I'm really proud of just what we're doing in Highland Park. I just wanted to make that really clear. We're forward-thinking and progressive, and we're doing all the necessary steps to make sure that Highland Park remains strong and can be even stronger post-pandemic. I know the mayor's probably going to talk about this, but I was so happy to see that super fresh sign going up over the grocery store. I also just wanted to welcome back Councilwoman Kim Chohan. We missed you. We know you had your
principal, but we are still here to help you every step of the way. So thank you, Mayor. That's my report.
Thank you. Borough Attorney, report?
Oh, I have nothing, Mayor.
Okay. And then I'll just, and the attorney has nothing either. And my report is very brief. Yes, I was super excited to see that sign up yesterday as I pulled up in the parking lot while the sign was being hung, and it was like really, really good to see that a supermarket is finally coming. We've been saying it for months, but that sign just verifies exactly what we have been saying. And I'm really excited to have our very own Highland Park supermarket coming back. So stay tuned. I think I'm gonna do a quick little video over there so that you see the progress report of what's going on. So look out for one of my mayor's minute video. I too was excited about the the police department kite decoration last week. There were so many little ones there and they were so excited, and it was just a great time to be around. And hopefully one day soon they'll have a kite flying somewhere, maybe Donaldson Park, Chief, hint, hint. They can go fly those beautiful decorated kite over at Donaldson Park, and the gratitude tree was also great. So we're doing some really good things for the gratitude. Don't forget to get your notes of gratitude wherever you see the signs for the gratitude tree. It's going to be a big unveiling pretty soon. Speaking of school, I was at Borough School last month for their Women's History Month event, and they were just spectacular. The singing, the poetry reading, the dance, it was amazing. And I just want to thank all those students from Borough School who invited me to come to be a part, to see their performance. Again, kudos, kudos, kudos. They were just amazing. And that's my very brief report. Now it's time for public participation. 21 minutes total, 3 minutes per speaker, limited to items on this agenda. Comments from members of the public attending in person will be heard first, followed by those who are attending on Zoom. Okay, anyone in the audience that wish to speak? You may come up and say your name and address.
Hi, Mayor. Lois Levy, North Second Avenue, and others. This is not on this agenda, but it's about the report that I heard last Tuesday from Councilman Phil George, who I see is not here. I wanted to make my correction. There is no leads that I could find in my first edition of this current redevelopment plan. It discusses at the way at the back of your redevelopment plan, describes green buildings, VLC, Energy Star. It was in this 2005 somewhere that has redevelopment plan. It has leads mentioned many times on page 17 and described what was to be. To me, that's more important that it's in the front of the redevelopment and not hidden in the back. And then in your current one, which is my copy, could be very outdated. I mean, it's one you issued for this year, for 2021, but it was right after the draft. But so after the energy explanation for building construction, then you have accessibility, which to me is then lost in the sauce. So if any of those can be moved to the front, I mean, I guess you're finished with it. But I have more to comment on about the master plan, but I'll talk to anybody else here.
Okay, thank you. One on Zoom.
There are 3 people on Zoom. Somebody's raising their hand. Carl Craig, could you unmute yourself, state your name and your address for the record?
Nothing from this.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. It's Mary Forsberg, Dennison Street, Highland Park. Hannah Shostak and I have spent a little bit of time looking into the issue of Superfresh and its relationship to Highland Park, New Brunswick, and Tana Mall and some other places. And I today, just today, read a letter that Hannah sent to all of you, and only 2 council people and the mayor responded. The person that the borough is working with about Superfresh has a history of not being a great long-term tenant, let's say, in some places, specifically Tano Mall and New Brunswick. And he also has a problem of a problem in New York State, where he has been found guilty of cheating on lottery or taxes and dealing inappropriately with his employees. I'm curious how much of that he applied for the DL urban renewal thing in June, after the store closed in May, and then got approval for DL urban renewal in August. So you've known for a long time about him, and you know that he's going to be the supermarket guy. And I'm very curious why, or if you did do any due diligence about how appropriate it was to actually have him be the person bringing our supermarket to town. So I would like, I know that the mayor responded, and Councilman Carnival responded, and one other person responded. And I'd like to hear something from the other people who never bothered to respond to Hannah's letter.
Any other persons raising their hand? At this time, I move to close the public comment of the meeting. And Lois, I can follow up with you. I will do a follow-up on the things that you mentioned, the leads, the AD and the redevelopment plan. So we'll do a follow-up on that. In regards to the phone call from Mary, I'm gonna ask Attorney Bauman to address those. But before he does, there's 2 things I want to address. The supermarket that was in New Brunswick, it's called Fresh Grocers. The other supermarket in Tano Mall is called Fresh Grocers. So New Brunswick was Fresh Grocers, Tano Mall was Fresh Grocers.
That is not true.
Point of order, ma'am. We had set some ground rules before that once the public portion is closed, you have to allow individuals to answer the questions. So please refrain from that. If that's the case, we're gonna have to unfortunately continue doing this.
But
Thank you.
Superfresh was
Excuse me, ma'am, excuse me, out of order again. The mayor is speaking, she's responding to the questions. I've asked everybody at the beginning of the meeting to follow the rules. Can you please allow the individuals to answer the questions? And if you have any additional questions, we can take it offline. And you also have a second public portion to speak at. You cannot speak during the time when the public portion is closed. Can you please respond if you heard me?
I've heard you, and
Thank you. That's it. Thank you.
Right.
Can you please
This
allow
is
the
not
mayor
a
to
very,
speak?
this is not a very.
No, it's not,
democratic
ma'am.
process.
Ma'am, we have already established that you had your opportunity to answer the questions. We made a motion to close the public portion. I do not understand why we continue having this issue now and also the last meeting you're at. Why are you being disrespectful to the governing board? They're answering your question. Thank you.
Okay, Attorney Bauman, could you answer the rest of the question regarding the question that Ms. Forsberg asked about why this particular developer we're working with or has chosen to work with us?
Sure, Mayor. First, my understanding is that they do not own the store in New Brunswick. He owns 5 locations in New Jersey: Linden, Hope Lawn, Middlesex, Belleville, and Roselle. which is a facility that was damaged by a storm and is about to reopen. He's been in business about 30 years. He has 489 employees operating his various grocery stores. He's investing $6 million. He did have an issue with the state of New York. He wasn't found guilty. He settled with them without admitting liability, but he did settle for a significant number, $4 million or so. Mr. Lee came to us through the landlord, so not unlike perhaps our other redevelopment projects where we own the property and go through the RFQ process, so we have much more to say about who will ultimately develop that property. Our say in this property, which is privately owned, is limited. We offered a pilot to help the property owner attract a grocer who was going to invest in a grocery store that was frankly outdated and needed substantial improvements. They struck a deal with Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee and they did it in reliance on our consideration of the pilot. His application was filed in February, so not August of last year. And at this point, it's up for adoption, but we do have a limited ability to make decisions about who that landlord finds as their tenant. Our role is simply that we offer to entice a tenant by providing a pilot, which we think was successful. We, as you know, Mayor, I think you had a community meeting, I looked up February 28, 2023. And you said to the public that we were going to find a grocer. And over the past year, we've spoken to lots of grocers. Individually, we reached out, you did personally, property owner did. The property owner, frankly, not our choice, settled on this grocer, which again, they did have an issue with the state of New York, but it also has 30 years of experience, 489 employees, and 5 stores in New Jersey. And is going to invest $6 million.
And I also want to say that in our borough, we do have a wage theft ordinance in place.
Yeah, clearly if there's issues, he'll be accounted for.
Thank you. Now we're going to move on to ordinance requiring a second reading. This is the super fresh ordinance, but no formal action will be taken tonight. And it's ordinance number 24-2083. And no action will be taken. It's a long-term tax exemption authorizing this financial agreement for DL Urban Renewal, which is super fresh. May I have a motion? I'm sorry, may I have a motion to continue the public hearing in our next meeting of April 16th?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Canavera?
Yes.
Councilman Hale?
Yes.
Council President Hirsch?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho Han?
Yes.
And now we move on to our consent agenda. May I have a motion to adopt or reject the following consent agenda items, A12 through F7?
To get fair, we're talking it out here is not gonna do good.
Can you move that person? Thank you.
Remove them? Or-
Move.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. May I have a motion to adopt or reject the following consent agenda items, A12 through 12A through 12F?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Canavera?
Yes.
Councilman Hale?
Yes.
Council President Hirsch?
Yes, and just thank you to Terry Rivera's not here tonight, but for exhaustively walking us through several of these things, especially 12E, the community energy plan. Absolutely, yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho Han?
Yes.
Resolution requiring a separate reading, that's 4-24-121, resolution to amend the 2024 municipal temporary budget. May I have a motion to adopt or reject?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Canavera?
Yes.
Councilman Hale?
Yes.
Council President Hirsch?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim Cho Han?
Yes.
And now I'm moving on to appointments into the Council on Aging, Francis Burke, Shade Tree Advisory Committee, Kenneth Kessel. May I have a motion to confirm Francis Burke to the Council on Aging and Kenneth Castle to the Shade Tree Committee?
Motion to confirm.
Second,
Roll call.
Councilwoman Canavera?
yes.
Councilman Neal?
Yes.
Council President Hirsch?
Yes, welcome.
Councilwoman Kim Cho Han?
Yes.
Now it's time for the second public participation. 3 minutes per speaker on any topic, subject to close at 9 p.m. Members of the public attending in person will be heard first, followed by those on Zoom. And just a reminder, all the questions will be taken in, and then we'll close public participation, then we'll answer the questions later. Thank you.
Hi, Dan, Lois, North Second Avenue. So while I was looking for leads in your 2021 redevelopment, I also searched and thought, well, maybe I saw leads in the 2019 master plan. I'm assuming, since I can't ask you, that that is the newest, I believe. So no leads could I find, oh, in redevelopment. And the master plan says New Jersey statute, well, it's the municipal land use law, 40:55D-93. Preparation, every municipality in the state shall prepare a storm water management plan and control ordinance. And in section 95, it talks about detention basins and development flooding during new development. So it does not, when you come back to me and say this pertains only to shore towns, it does not. And it was written in 1981, and I don't remember seeing it ever in any of our master plans. Now, the master is, though, apparently in your code book, because you have dog waste on the counter clerk that says it's in the code book 365. The code book is not the master plan, which is the invitation for developers. So now I'm wondering why we didn't ever have it in for the Cleveland Avenue master development and other ones that are planned. It has to be, every shall prepare, every town shall prepare. You prepared it, but it's not in the master plan. This says it should be in the master plan. Also in your master plan, in the historic page, you have no mention of what historian Jean Coleman told me many years ago, that she worked diligently to get Highland Park in both the local historic district and as a state historic district. So you have protection from state funds coming in. The entire town is a historic district and historic district. Also in the redevelopment plan, where is this cooling corridor that should come through the middle of town? A line of trees, not just for animals, but for cooling people. I know you've got one down at the river where two former mayors
30
live,
seconds.
but it needs to be in the center of town. Even in the 70s, when friends would visit, the minute they got 1 block off and parked on Denison Street, 1 block off the avenue, it was 10 degrees cooler, I kept hearing. It's 10 degrees cooler off Route 27. So where is the cooling corridor of trees for your future? And do we only get 1 question? Now if I step back and 2 people come forward, I get 3 minutes twice a month with you? Is that my freedom of speech? Okay, can't answer. Okay, I'm questioning this. Thank you.
Do we have anyone on Zoom that wishes to speak?
There are 3 people on Zoom. Carl Prey is raising their hand. And also Middlesex County Organizing for Power, so they're gonna go second. Carl Prey, can you state your name and address for the record?
Mary Forsberg, Denison Street, Highland Park. I want to correct the record here. There were 2 stores in New Brunswick that went out of business. Each of them owed one owed $1 million to the New Brunswick Parking Authority. One owed almost about $800,000 to the New Brunswick Parking Authority. One of them was Superfresh. One of them was Fresh Direct. So Superfresh does not have a great record. And in Tano Mall, I'm pretty sure that was Superfresh as well that walked away. The other thing is that DL Urban Renewal applied to renovate a supermarket in June of 2023. It's in the information that you had made available. They were then approved for that in August of 2023. None of that happened. I don't know what happened in February 2024, but both of those happened, halfway through the year in 2023. So the information that Mr. Baumann is giving is not the information that you provided in the packet of information that was available when this whole thing became an issue in town. I would like to see a supermarket in town, but I want to be sure that this is a supermarket that will be here for more than 3 years and will not leave either the town or the owner of the property with a giant debt. So I feel like, Hannah asked about whether you did any due diligence, and I think that's a big issue that people should think about. So thank you. I just wanted to correct the record on that.
I'm sorry, I keep looking that way.
Yeah, Jessica Hunston,
Okay.
can you unmute yourself and state your name and address for the record?
Well done, Dick. Thank you.
This is Jessica Hunston. Oh, okay, great. I wasn't sure if I could speak. I did have a couple of questions. First of all, it hasn't been raised, but I did send the mayor and council an email in support of a resolution that I believe was introduced to all of you that urges Middlesex County Clerk Nancy Pinkin to reject what's the word I'm looking for? I'm so sorry. To not go ahead with the I'm so sorry. I didn't know I was going to be talking tonight, but to ensure that the county line stays in place. And I know that there has been a court case ongoing, and that there was a ruling, and that Nancy Pinkin is using taxpayer resources to stop from that injunction from coming into place. So I just want to say my support of that. I hope that you got other emails supporting that this county line, the ending of the county line is actually, that ruling is upheld. And then the other question I did have is, I been to the last 2 council meetings, and I have noticed that the calls for the public comment have changed, and I totally understand the need to have rules in place and to engage respectfully from the mayor and council. But I'm a little concerned that by shutting down and not responding to the questions as they're asked doesn't allow community members to kind of have an engagement and maybe ask clarifying or follow-up questions. And so I just wanted to raise that because I've been coming to council meetings for quite some time, and this seems to be a new policy. And I'd ask that the mayor and council really consider what that means to community members, and also the previous engagement with the attorney and community members just didn't seem to value and respect our community input. And so again, really, I totally understand the need to respectfully engage with the mayor and council, but I also would like for the attorney to respectfully engage with community members.
30 seconds. Anyone else on Zoom? No, she.
Okay, I appreciate having more time, a second chance to express our opinions to our representatives and so to address our grievances. as is written, you know where. On a totally different subject, although wait, let me stay with any grocery store that comes in. Is it possible in the contract to put a clause that if the business goes under and taxes are due somewhere, property tax, whatever they pay, I guess it's not property taxes, rentals, finances are due, can there be some sort of a finding or some, so I want to hear from him. Him meaning ocean. The little one. Can there be some sort of protection? This is all that citizens are worried about. You have so many residents that don't drive, and we need more bus shelters, PS, because of that. And this is advertised as a walking town. But you have so many counting on this, we don't want everybody to get their hopes up and be happy for 2 years, and then the thing is gone. If this pattern that has been set, if that continues. So, yeah, right now it would be wonderful if we had a grocery store for 20 years. Okay, totally different question. Lithium batteries. Are they only the rechargeable batteries we see and hear about starting on fire? Or are they also the lithium in your bathroom scale or in flashlights? Okay, you can't answer me. And I just want to say I had asked months ago that for those of us who are home, when we're home at a meeting, could you please tell us the count? So if you won't, I'm going to say there's 7 people, plus the police chief, who I assume is always here, plus the videographer. So you tell us that there's 3 on the computers, but you don't tell us on the phone or computers how many are here, when indeed you might have 0, or you might have a full house. We're curious too. Thanks.
Any other public comment? Seeing that there's none, I move to close this section of the public comments. Attorney Baumann, could you clarify about, oh, I'm sorry, motion to close public comments?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, now we're going to move to Attorney Baumann. Could you please explain what the process that the agreement that the grocer has with the property owners?
So
as much as you can.
There's 2 agreements. There's a lease of the grocer to the property owner, landlord tenant lease, and we're not a party to, and we have nothing to do. We didn't negotiate it. The financial agreement that's under consideration at the public hearing does, to your question, require them to pay this taxes, and if they don't pay their taxes, it's the same result as if you didn't pay your taxes, meaning there would be a lien on their property, and ultimately their property can be taken from them and sold. So the real estate taxes they'll have to pay to the borough will be protected the same way that anyone else is protected against anyone else not paying their taxes. So we're covered there. Lastly, if the grocery store does close, the contract that we negotiate for the payment of those taxes terminates. It's only good for as long as there's a grocery store, and then it will go back to normal taxes. As Mary mentions this August date, I figured it out. I think she's referring to the date that the entity was created in August. So it was the date that we were dealing with them. Their lease is not signed until November, and they don't apply to February. So I think Mary's referring to, or Ms. Forsberg, sorry, the date when they're organized, I'm guessing.
Thank you.
Mayor,
There was some.
can I ask Attorney Baumann just a quick question to Mike? Do you recall how long the lease is between the Superfresh and the 20 years? It's a 20-year lease, right?
Any questions from the members of the dais regarding the supermarket? Okay, good. The other question was asked by Ms. Husband about the county clerk. Borough Attorney, anything that you want to add to that?
You're talking the lawsuit?
Yeah, the lawsuit.
Yes. You know, as many of you know, the lawsuit came in, and there's been filings that was done actually on the Easter holiday. We are all sorting through the information, And once, it's my understanding there were additional filings up to midnight last night and today. I will advise the mayor and the council and any next steps that they can take. However, as everybody knows, this case is moving very fast and there are many parties in it. So there is no response for today because there were a lot of document production over the Easter holiday. Thank you.
I think we answered all the questions. There was something about historic district, and we'll discuss that with Lois offline because I really don't know. And then the lithium battery one, I don't know the answer to that either. We'll do some follow-up and get back to you where the batteries are concerned and cooling centers. I think that's more Shade Tree we're talking about. But that's it. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Our next scheduled council meeting is April 16th at 7 p.m. Be safe, everyone out there on these wet roads. Thank you.